Hi FlossTube, happy Sunday, June 2nd. My name is Sherry, and this is my little corner of YouTube. Happy to be back. It's been a long month away. Mira May didn't go quite as planned. I did as much as I could, but as you all know, or if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're not, then I'll just give you a quick recap of what happened the last month. For those of you who don't know, my mom had a stroke. I had planned on spending the whole month here at home and working, because I still work. Instead, I had to pack everything up for 2 weeks and go help my sister take care of my mom while my sister had to step away during the day for work. I'm fortunate enough to work from home, and I can pick up my laptop and work from anywhere, so I said sure I would come help with mom. She just needed someone there because she is now a fall risk after her stroke. Otherwise, she's fine. She's had physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. She is back to her old self. But during those 2 weeks there, you know, you're out of your element. You're in someone else's home. It's my sister's house, very comfortable there, but I had to set up work for me to be, to be able to work in an area in her house that was quiet enough that I could concentrate when I needed to, or if I was on conference calls, I could take those without worrying that someone was going to come walking in the door. There were a few trying times. I had my sister, God bless her, brought home an extra monitor so I could hook it up into my laptop, because here upstairs I have 3 monitors, so 2 was good enough, and I was able to do my job and have client meetings that were pretty important, all while either sitting at the desk that she had for me or taking everything into my bedroom, closing the door, propping everything up on suitcases and pillows and sitting on the floor for 8 hours and working. There were a couple of days there I was just wishing I was home. Aside from that, I got to spend time with my sister, my cousins, my mom. We sat out on my sister's back deck for a long time during the days just so my mom could get fresh air. There were a couple of days I packed her in the car and took her to Costco and, did things like that. So it was good. I was happy to be home, although I was home for 2 days, said hello and goodbye to my husband, and then had to leave for 4 days for another work trip. So I just came home Friday afternoon. I collapsed, as all of you probably would guess, and just am taking this weekend to recuperate. I'm home this whole next week, and then gone again for my last set of meetings with clients the following week. And then after that, hopefully, we're going to go on a little vacation, my husband and I, and then be home for a while. So aside from all of that, I did take 3 or 4 Mirabilias with me because, as you all know, it was Mira May, and, I hardly stitched. My husband, although he made sure I took his dragon, so I did work on his dragon a little bit when I could, but honestly, guys, by the end of the night, when I went into my room and shut the door and sat on the bed, I just kind of went, oh, and sat there for a little bit and stitched for maybe an hour. Didn't make much progress. I had a pretty good run right up until when I left, so I will show you where I am as of right now. And then we'll talk a little bit about plans and what was waiting for me when I came home. I did get a very small purchase order in the mail, and other than that, it's going to be a pretty light video. So I hope everyone is well, and let's get started diving into the Mira May that was. So what I took with me, I will start with, actually, we're going to start with my husband's dragon, because honestly, out of everything, I think I made the most progress on this. So let me take it off of the Nerge. I took a Nerge with me rather than a Q-snap because for this project anyways, the Nerge works really well. So this is where I was before. And here is the progress I've made. So you can see, and let me move a little closer to the camera. I'll stand up, I think that will help. I was able to move across the top up here, and let me pull my hand over here and get all of this filled in. That's kind of all I did. It was so hard to see, but it's coming along, and you all know this man reminds me every day, how's my dragon coming along? For those of you that don't know what this chart is, it is an Etsy designer called 2x2 Stitch Art, and it's called Dragons. And the fabric I am using is a sparkle fabric. Also, for those of you that don't know, my eyes gravitate towards sparkle. So I use sparkle as much as I can. It just, I think, helps to bring the whole design together. The fabric is 36 count, and like I said, I'm a little tired, so bear with me as I pull this out, and I don't even think it's in here, but it is 36 count ancient from Picture This Plus. And I am using this color called Coco Lot from, it's Gloriana Silk. It is just a dreamy Gloriana. So let me pull it out and show you. It's kind of in a bag here. For the inner framing, so it's not very variegated, but it is so chocolatey and pretty. It just goes so well on the fabric. And PR 161, I do remember from Silks for You. Check out this hank. It is beautiful, and I think Stitch Brat is using it on a long dog sampler. Go check it out. It looks amazing. But this is just a glorious piece of silk. Sorry, it's kind of messy in this Ziploc bag that I have it stored in. And then the dragons are Night Stalker Calling in the colorway Scales. So if you haven't tried Night Stalker Calling, give them a shot. Go look them up on Etsy. Beautiful hand-dyed cotton. So you can see the variegation in this. It's tremendous. And it just looked so fabulous on the dragon. You can see the greens in the dragon and the reds, and they're just little hints of color in there. You can actually see some of the reds in there. So anyways, that's hubby's dragon, Chris's dragon, we're gonna call it. And that, honestly, that project probably had the most success in stitching when I was at my sister's. The next project I took was Muka. As many of you know, Muka is my focus Mirabilia this year. Because she is almost done, and I just really need to buckle down and have the time to work on her. But before I share this, this is where I was before I left for Michigan. And that is how far I've gotten. And I was able to just put in, I think, oh, let me see if I can. I think over on this side, I was just able to put in a few more stitches. Not many, but I mean, it was much harder to see this at night when I was so tired from the day. But I did do a couple of stitches. So this fabric is 28 count, I think. It looks like a 28, it might be a 32 count. Heaven's Fury from Under the Sea Fabrics. When I say Leslie, she is the dyer. It's a Mirabilia chart, as I shared. This is the picture. When she's complete, she's absolutely beautiful. And I love her, love her, love her on this fabric. And I am using all the called for DMC. I did not switch this. It is 32 count opal Heaven's Fury from Under the Sea Fabrics. So she is going to move into my focus for June. I will be attending a retreat, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, and taking her with me when I go. The next project I took with me was I have no clue why I took this one, but I took Christmas Flourishes by Mirabilia, and this is where I was, and this is how far I got. Now this one I did work on, I think, a little bit more, because believe it or not, I could see the red in my room. So I stitched all of this, I worked on this. So this is absolutely what I worked on, and you can tell by looking at the before picture. I don't have the picture of the chart. Before I get to that, and if I find it, I'll post it right here. But what I am stitching this on a piece of hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie, and Versailles Red is the name of the color, and it is 28 count. And I am using all the called for, and it is beautiful. So I think those were the only pieces I took with me. But I did make some progress on the other mirrors that I said I was going to work on before I left. So we'll start with this piece, which is Sun Goddess by Nora Corbett. Let me pull the picture out and show you what it looks like. Here it is. So this is Sun Goddess. She is the sister to Gypsy Queen. Now, I've said this before, so for those of you that are new to my channel, I'll say it again. I stitched Gypsy Queen in All Splendor by Rainbow Gallery, so it's silk. And because this is the sister, I am stitching her on the same piece of fabric, which is 32 count Changeling, I think. It is Changeling from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, or Stephanie's Fabrics. And I've converted her to Rainbow Gallery Splendor Silk. So this is where I was. And this is how far I've gotten. So I did make some progress down in here. I think I told you all last time, there is that big space. I'm going to put this here so you can see. Right above here, that's supposed to be a fold in the dress, but it looks like a triangle. And if you have watched Kenny Stitches and seen his particular finish, this same finish, he just left that out. So we chit-chatted, and I said, you know what, I'm actually going to draw it in and make it a fold all the way down. So mine's going to go all the way to the top and then come down. And if I don't like it, frankly, I'll just rip it out. But I think it's going to look okay. So this is my Sun Goddess. And let's see, do I have another mirror over here? I don't think I do, but I did talk to you guys about Adia the Garden Fairy, and I didn't show what I did, but I saw that my friend Sarah from Lady Lugana pulled her out and was going to stitch her, and said that was one of her favorites. So I kitted her up last month, I think. Except I didn't use DMC. Well, I used maybe 3 or 4 DMC. And for skin, which I always do skin over 1, so that will be DMC. But I wanted to try Roxy Floss, so I spent a good amount of time on the internet looking at my DMC card, my pulled DMCs, and comparing them to the Roxy Floss. And I selected my conversion. And I reached out to Carrie, the owner and dyer of Roxy Floss, and asked her to just take a look at the order when it came in and tell me if she thought I did okay or did she recommend any changes. And she was very gracious and looked, and she recommended one, I think, lighter color of yellow. Based on what I had chosen, she thought it was just a little too stark against the fabric. So I didn't start it. I put it aside. I left it off of Mira May, but I came home and I thought, you know what? I just didn't make enough effort on the pieces that I wanted to get to for Mira May. So to heck with it. I'm going to start this one because I watched Lady Lugana and she started talking about it. And I said, all right, Sarah, you're convincing me to do it. So I pulled all the colors and laid them out on my fabric that I chose, which is a Pole Stitches 28 count Brittany Lugana called Windy Leaves. For those of you that don't know what Adia the Garden Fairy looks like, this is her, and she's just really pretty. Now take a look at all of that yellow, and actually that in the middle, if you can see that, it's white, but I just thought white looked too harsh. So I changed it and I started her. And I changed it to a cream color. So in the middle, up in here, it's going to be cream. And then I chose very buttery, delicate yellows and beiges. So what I thought was, think old lace that has been aging for a long time, you know, and I don't know, I'm reading a bunch of books and, you know, silly books just to get my head out of life in general. So I'm going through those Sarah J. Maas books, which, you know, fine, they're good. But thinking about a fairy or a fae in the garden and what someone who dwells in the garden would look like, and I just thought old lace, sparkling in some spots, but since there's so many embellishments on here, I opted not to use a sparkle fabric. And I don't know, this just spoke to me. So I decided that on this piece of fabric, that is going to be really muted, lacy looking, and the sparkle is going to come from all of that beading in the middle. Hopefully she's going to look great. These, I am going to tell you all, and you can see my little stickers with conversions on them. If you've not tried Roxy Floss, you need to try it. It's amazingly nice, wonderful, soft, buttery, the whole thing. It's gliding through this fabric. I am very happy with it and very glad to sing Carrie's praises. This is wonderful. So she will get more work. Oh, I did take one more piece, one more Mira, which I did no work on, but I worked on her here since I've been home. Lady of the Mist, here she is. Okay. Here's where I was, not far. And here's what I did since I came home. So if you look at this piece, and I think last time I showed it, I said, I can't figure out which way is up, but now you can see. If I'll put it, let's see, right here. So you can see where I am is just right here across her lap. She's gonna be a big one. This is a piece of 28 count fairy, hold on a second, I have to get this right because it is a hand-dyed, you know, it's a Under the Sea Fabrics, and it was the first time I've used this piece. Here it is. Sugar Plum Fairies. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's sparkly. I love her. I love this fabric. Leslie did a beautiful job. You can see the colorways in it. There's some pinks and lavenders and blues. It is just beautiful. And she is going to be gorgeous on this piece of fabric. So it is 28 count, and the design size is 230 by 310. So when I calculated it on 28 count, she's a big one. She is going to be about like 16, I think, by 22, something like that. She's big. So I'm excited to work on her. She actually made me smile yesterday. I was just so happy to be back in my room, on my chair, sitting down and stitching. Just, even if it was for just an hour, I was so happy. So that was it for Mira's. Now we're into June, and it's not Mira June. My husband, I have to tell you all, he woke up on June 1st, and I think I was out of bed. I had gotten out of bed, got up, came down, grabbed coffee, went back upstairs and was sitting. My room is big enough that I have furniture in there to sit on. And so I was sitting on my chair, getting ready to pick up my stitching. And he must have mentally in his sleep known that that's what I was doing. And he comes up out of his blanket covering his face and he goes, "Cher Bear, it's no longer Mira May. It's Dragon June. Get busy." And then he pulled the covers down and he goes, "I'm here to help you." I started laughing. I said, "Go back to sleep." So definitely I've got to make Chris's dragon a focus, because I would really like to get that done for him by at least in the fall at some point. But in the meantime, what am I going to work on for the rest of summer? So, this is when we start thinking about what are you thinking about fall stitching? Are you thinking about relaxing summer stitching? I am not a person who plans out incredibly far and says, like for this piece, for instance, oh, I want to get that done in 4 months. Oh, that is never happening. Sometimes I get on a streak, but the things that are really important to me, aside from stitching, which is 1,000% important to me, it's incredibly important for me to take care of myself. So I make sure I get 10,000 plus steps a day. I walk on a treadmill while I work. And if I am away from home like I was, I made sure I got outside and got those steps in every day. It was good for my mental focus. It was good for my well-being. I made sure I lifted my 5 days. I lift 5 days a week. I have a coach, and I find it incredibly valuable. I have to really think about what is important to me and what do I want for the next, 30, 40 years of my life. And I mean, God willing, 40, I will be 101. But, realistically speaking, you don't know how much time you have left. And after watching my mom go through the stroke, and my husband's father, who is still recovering from a stroke, but his recovery is nowhere near like my mom's. His is long and arduous. I want to do everything I can for myself internally, physically, mentally, to make sure that I am not a, burden on my kids or my husband. And when my time comes and it's time for me to check out and go to the next life, I want to do it in my sleep. So I count my macros. I make sure I focus on putting good things in my body. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, because God knows I'm not. But I am consistent. And so consistency is key for me. So having said that, that is the only thing I really plan every day. And work, of course, because I have to do that. I don't plan my stitching. I plan to stitch every day, but I stitch the pieces that, they speak to me. Like, I haven't done this for a while. Let me do some work on this. So I brought down a couple of things just to show you all, things that I've been thinking about, and since they're front and center in my head, I have decided that maybe I should work on them. So, Winter Rose Manor, and the reason why this one spoke to me again is because Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, shared her finish, and it reminded me that I really like stitching on this. So, this is how far I was, and I've showed this before. So I got the house done, and I did change some of those colors. I am using the Vicki Clayton silks, and some of the colors that I received from her, while beautiful, just didn't show up on this fabric, and I really like this fabric. It is Twixt and Tween 36 count linen from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I thought, you know, even though Twixt and Tween says Halloween, I kind of like this for that Winter Rose Manor. I think it looks smoky and moody and wintry. So it's been calling my name from my whip pile, and I decided, yeah, I'm going to pull it out and see what kind of progress I can make over summer. It's a small one, and it shouldn't take me too long. So that's one. And then my Teresa Kogut Let Love Rain, which I did change a whole bunch of the colors. And I am stitching this on a piece of Properly Primitive by Under the Sea Fabrics. It's 40 count. It's not sparkly because, you know, it's a sampler. And I am almost across that middle band, and I've showed this before, so let me show it again for those of you that haven't seen it. So I changed that blue. I like that turquoise. It jumps out at me. I don't know. I just liked it, so I changed it. I really did change everything to either an overdyed linen or an overdyed fiber or a silk. I think most of them are silks. And I had an idea. I don't know how it's going to look, so I'm hesitant to say what my idea is, but if you can see, here's the chart. If you look at those flowers, they're kind of all the same. I was thinking that maybe those flowers needed to be a burst of a few of the colors. I don't know. We'll see. I might try that and see how it looks, but I do like this chart. I think it's really pretty, and it's a big one, so hence the 40 count. So we'll see how it looks. I think I'm going to work on it a little bit this summer and see how far I can get. I'm in no rush. I just like that process of stitching. So the next piece that was calling my name is one I definitely plan on finishing, so it will be a focus piece. Ooh, my stuff is falling. Okay. Sorry. Definitely a focus piece. Using all the called for DMC. Let me pull the picture out. And it's Summer Quaker by Leela Studio. For those of you that know the summer, sorry, Hugo Stitcher, Samantha, Live in the Sunshine Sal. I'm following that thread on Instagram. I knew it would come to me. Coffee is my friend. And I am stitching this. Let's see if, yes, it's here. On a piece of Beach Walk. It's 40 count linen. It's opal. It's from Under the Sea Fabrics because I love Leslie. And I, as you can see, am almost done. So I am definitely going to finish this piece this summer. And I love it. It's so pretty. I'm sorry it's wrinkled. It is just so pretty, right? Look at that. It's so cool. So cool. Now, I made a mistake, but I'm not correcting it. And I am going to challenge all of you to see where my mistake is because I just don't think you can. But we'll see. I'm going to go with it, and because, you know, always forward, never back. And I love it. It looks great. And it was such a fun stitch. That middle, full coverage, it was good for mindless watching TV stitching, that's for sure. So definitely going to be a focus piece for the next month or so, and I probably can finish it. And then I think this might be the last piece that called my name, and I said, yeah, I've probably got to work on this. It's the vanity sampler that I converted to use the Aversois silks in muted, different colors, a different, completely different colorway. So let me pull, I'm sorry about the crinkle. I'll pull the chart out so you can see. This is what it looks like. And while it's beautiful, I just didn't like the colors. And I saw Cam the Stitcher. She converted her piece to these beautiful colors. And I said, oh yes, I 100% like what she chose, but I want to take it a step further. So, excuse me, I converted it to this silk, the Aversois silk in this colorway. And I don't know, I guess I would say lavenders and greens and pinks and a beautiful sparkling dark, like pinkish red. Oh, it's so pretty. So, and I've told this story before. The fabric is 40 count Newcastle linen in the colorway Honey Amber. I walked up to the counter with this fabric and those flosses, and Sherry, Colorado Cross Stitcher, said, what are you putting on this? And I said, this is a conversion for the vanity sampler from Hello from Liz Matthews. And she said, you need to finish this thing so I can see what it looks like. And so far, guys, I gotta say, I am loving how this is coming out. So it's a fun stitch. It's a pretty simple one. So I am gonna work on this. And on this fabric, I mean, the light here, the light is not doing it justice, but wow, this fabric is honey amber. Think honey amber beer. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna work on that. So I think for the stitching, as I look around, that's it. I thought about showing you guys how many fully kitted projects I have. Sometimes I go out there and I look at them and I think, do I want to start one? Do I want to pull another one out? Do I want to get another one going? I mean, I have about 85 fully kitted projects, complete in project bags, and with all the flosses, and I have a ton of beads, and I mean, I already have so much, and I have so much fabric. I could kit more, but right now I have enough, and until something speaks to me, I probably won't kit another thing for a while, until I finish something. Oh, one more. Sorry, I'm looking right at it. This one always calls me because, gosh, I'm all over the place. I'm so sorry. This one calls my name every day. It says, I'm here, come finish me. And it's Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I just love this piece. I love it. I love it. I'm not very far, but I got the biggest one done. I actually converted the border, so if you look around each of those frames, it's black. And this is done in DMC. I am using the needlepoint silk conversion, and I've told this story before. I'm just psycho nuts. So I changed the black. I didn't want it to be black. So all my border is Silken Colors Acorn Woods. So you'll see this will be around every square and the rectangle. And when I show you where I am, you can see it. So, and it's a piece of for the life of me, that used to be right at the top of my head, and it is missing out of my brain right now, but I'm sure I'll remember. It's probably in here if I remember what the heck the name of the fabric is. I'll tell you guys. I am so sorry, but it is a piece of Stephanie's hand-dyed fabrics from Stephanie, and it's such a cool color. And check it out. Check it out. Okay, see that border? I just think it looks so cool. And if you take a look at this, and then you go look at someone who stitched it in DMC, I mean, it looks like it's different colors. It really does. It's just so cool. So I'm going to work on this because why not, right? Why not? So definitely this one is going to be a focus piece over summer. So with that said, like I said, let me get back to what I was saying. I was thinking about maybe I would show you guys all of my storage, and I mean, I'll save that for another video. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you guys, the only thing I got when I came home from my travels were 2 project bags from my friend Julie at WipItUpProjectBags. You all should be looking at her bags on Etsy when she posts them. She is one of the best bag makers we are blessed and fortunate to have in our community. There are great bag makers out there, and I have representation of so many here. Needle and Bone, and so many others that I have out. I have like 3 different project bags from 3 different people here. So, but there is something about Julie's bags. They're gorgeous. Look at this. How incredible is that? Just amazing work. Just amazing. And sturdy, you know, they don't just collapse. And then this one, which I love for a fall project, and I actually may put my popcorn hollow in here. Anyway, if you have the opportunity and the funds to spend a little bit on a project bag, I highly recommend Julie. Other than that, guys, I think I am kind of done for the day. I need to run over to Costco and pick up some stuff, but other than that, I hope you all have a great next couple of weeks. As I said earlier, I am having to travel for my last set of client meetings here in the next couple of weeks. It's travel all in 1 week, and then when I come back, my husband and I are gonna take a trip at some point and go see his grandkids and children, and I am going to take a much needed break from work. So have a wonderful first few weeks in June. Get outside and enjoy great weather wherever you live, and take care of yourselves. And remember, life is really precious. Take care of yourself. I hope you have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.